Hello everyone, welcome to the live session of Allen Global Studies Division. I hope you all are doing fine. Yes, hello everyone, hi, good morning. I wish I could address each one of you, but actually that is not possible because of the time constraint that we have. So I welcome everyone and thank you so much for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Stuti Khandwala and I'm an English faculty at Allen Global Studies Division. So let me tell you what we are going to discuss today. So we will be presenting the untold secrets of studying abroad. And we have our special panelists with us, Apoorv Bhatt sir and Sachin Shrivastava sir, who will be revealing the little known facts about overseas education. And we also have with us someone who is known as the girl who has cleared all entrance exams, the prodigy herself, Stuti Khandwala. Hello, Stuti. Good morning.
Morning.
Okay, so she's a former student of Allen Global Studies Division who is currently studying computer science as major along with bioengineering in Massachusetts Institute of Technology, that is in USA. Stuti needs no introduction, just Google her name and the 31,700 striking results will tell you all about her skills, achievements and contribution in the field of education, varying from conducting dance charity workshops for socioeconomically underprivileged people to mentoring students for Junior Olympiad for years, from serving as a member in an NGO to volunteering the development of an artificial forest site. That is quite interesting. And Stuti has also cleared AIMS MBBS tests, NEET, GMAT, JEE main, and of course SAT examination. Her exceptional academics and fascination to learn multiple subjects took her to the world's topmost engineering college, MIT. And as they all say that successful learners engage the world in around them, Stuti also aced every field she dived into. She loves writing poems, drawing sketches, and performing one of the most beautiful Indian classical dance forms, and that is Bharatnatyam, in which she has been trained for 12 years. That is very nice and wonderful, Stuti. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
That's good. And I'm sure that many of our viewers want to know how you spent your time in lockdown over there. So, what did you do?
I kept myself busy. So initially, our college had started remotely. So I continued my semester. And then after that, I had a couple research projects. And then, of course, I ate a lot. But that's elementary.
That's amazing, Stuti. We'll get back to you soon. Okay, so now let me introduce our first special panelist, Apoorv Bhatt sir. He is a double IITian with BTech from IIT BHU and MBA from IIT Roorkee. He has extensive training and consulting experience spanning over 15 years. In his professional life, he has worked across geographies and industry sectors on strategy consulting engagements, specifically in Middle East and North African markets. He has few national and international research publications to his credit, including few at IIM Ahmedabad. He is a certified market researcher and had a PG offer letter from Oxford as well. So today he will give us insight of what any admission committee looks for when evaluating international applications and what pointers should be kept in mind when any student applies for UG studies abroad. Hello, Pursa. Welcome to the webinar.
Thank you, ma'am. Hello, everybody. Hope you're all doing well.
Yes, sir. And last but not the least, let me introduce Sachin Shrivastava, sir, who is a management graduate and has a vast experience of teaching, training, and mentoring more than 1 lakh students during the span of 20 years. He has guided students from all walks of life. Does not matter whether you have a problem in English, logical reasoning, aptitude, or management subject, he has a solution for you. All, he has been a motivational speaker, a corporate trainer, and a life coach. He is a mnemonist and trains students for the same. He can memorize a 100-digit number in a flick and can repeat the same forward and sir and Apoorv sir are the head of AGST, that is Allen Global Studies Division, and together they established this division and guided the students to get into some of the best universities of the world. Their keen insight into profile building, essay writing, standardized test preparation, and admission process across USA, Australia, UK, Netherlands, Singapore made them lend 100% of their students into few creme de la creme global universities like MIT, Caltech, NUS, Edinburgh, University of Michigan, ANU, UCLA, UCSD, and many more for regular studies and summer internship programs with maximum scholarships. To name a few, they have mentored Lay Jain, Dhya Gandhi, Stuti Khandwala, Mudita Goyal, and Nishant Bhangi. And you must be aware, all these students are now part of MIT. So it's a pleasure to have you all here with us. Okay, so now without further ado, I will turn the time over to Sachin sir, who will be telling us about those attributes that are needed to get into international universities. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Hello, everybody. I'm going to share a presentation with you people, and let's try to understand how does this admission process work. So I'm going to share my presentation with you. Let's have a look. Before we move forward, we need to understand one thing, and that is the difference between the selection procedure here in India versus abroad. So once we understand this fundamental difference, most probably we'll understand the difference in the process. Now, talking about Indian programs, if you're applying here, there's only one kind of evaluation, and that is known as quantitative evaluation. What does it mean? It means you appear for a particular test or particular exam, you clear it, then there's a merit list, and as per that merit list, you get a particular college or a university. For say, you are topping an engineering exam, then surely you are going to get admission into one of the top engineering college of the India with the best branch for the CS. Now, no one is going to doubt your ability to deal with that particular subject. Regardless you have any interest or aptitude in that particular subject, you are going to opt for that, and you'll be given that particular subject and that college. Now, as we move out of India, especially when we talk about Western world, you'll see they have got holistic kind of evaluation system. So there are two types of evaluation. One is quantitative and the one is qualitative. When we move out of India, we find that people focus at qualitative part also. Again, we need to understand what these two things are there, qualitative and quantitative. Well, as you move out of India, you'll find people would consider your academics only up to 60%. And anything beyond that, means whatever you have done beyond your academics, that will be contributing at least 40%. More or less up to that level, means up to 40% it will contribute towards your admission to the best university of the world. So if say here in India, you are quite good at academics, you are brilliant, but you don't have any sort of extracurricular and you haven't done anything beyond your academics, believe me, it won't guarantee your admission to some of the best universities of the world. Now, let's try to understand these quantitative and qualitative evaluations. What does it mean? Quantitative evaluation consists of all the standardized tests, like your SAT, ACT, IELTS, TOEFL, and then it can be AP, your subject SAT. So anything where you are getting some sort of marks, the things which quantify your qualification, all those things come under this quantitative evaluation. Now, the other part is qualitative evaluation. It consists of all the documents that you submit during your application process. For say, these are the documents which draw your character sketch before admission committee. Since you never meet these people in person during the whole admission process, the documents become very crucial as they exhibit your whole persona. And admission committee visualizes your personality based on the inputs given by you through these documents only. These are very crucial documents, and they are basically your essays, LORs, and your SOPs. Some of the universities even ask for interviews. Now, here comes the question, what is the path? What is the right way to follow all these things or to clear all these things, right? So let's move on to the next slide. See, we have already discussed about these two things. Out of these two things, what university is trying to identify, or what the university is looking for. So the very first thing that we should understand, academic sustainability means whether you are capable of sustaining that academic rigor that university is going to or university require for a specific course that you are interested in. The other thing is your interest. Next is intelligence, and then personality. Now, how these things are correlated? Just a minute, there's some technical issue. I'll have to start it again.
It's okay, sir. I can see that many students are here who are appreciating and who are shouting out Stuti's name. There are many students over here.
Sure. We will have interaction with the Stuti also.
Yes,
just we'll have
of
to
course.
wait for a few minutes only.
Exactly. And they are saying that we hope Stuti is doing well over there in this crucial time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, it's back again. So these were the points that we have already discussed. Academic sustainability, interest, intelligence, and personality. Now, what happens? All these things filter through a concept known as best fit. See, here in India, we have the concept of rejection and selection. But as we move out, we find that it is not the concept of selection or rejection. It's basically more about best fit. Which particular university is best fit for you, which particular program is best fit for you, and which particular student is best fit for the university and the program. So they look in both the ways. And in order to get admission to these universities, we need to understand this process, and we need to think in that particular way only. Once you are best fit into the scheme of things required by university or required like by a program, then you get through it. You get the university or desired university you are looking for, you get into the program that you really willing to I should say get through. Now again, there are certain more important things, so I'll be focusing at qualitative evaluation only, then Apoorv sir will let you know about quantitative part and some part of this qualitative evaluation also. It will be quite specific. I'm talking in general, and I'm talking about the path that we need to follow. So when it comes to qualitative evaluation, there are two things. First one is your interest, other one is your personality. Again, personality is a bigger term, so we are not going to discuss it here. I'll be focusing at interest only. Now, this particular point becomes quite crucial, and here at AGSD, we start with this particular point only. First, we need to identify inherent interest of a student. Until and unless you know your interest, it will be very, very arduous to move forward, especially on this particular path. So we need to understand it very clearly, and we need to be very clear about our interest. So I would divide these interests into two parts. First one is inherent interest. Other one is doctored interest. What's the difference between inherent interest and doctored interest? So if I talk about doctored interest, you'll come to know about inherent interest. Doctored interests are basically the interests which are imposed by others, and with the passage of time, we start believing that these are our inherent interests. Let's take one example. You don't like a particular thing, you don't like a particular dish, you don't like cold drink for say, and if you keep on drinking it for a few days, slowly, gradually, you start liking that particular taste. The same happens with our interest in our life. You know, you were guided in proper way in a particular subject, you gain some sort of interest, and then the people around you, your field, your mentors, your teachers, your family members, they start telling you that this is your interest and you're exceptionally good at this. But see, being exceptionally good at a particular subject and having interest in a particular subject are two different things. You can be good at a particular subject even without having interest. I know students who are exceptionally good at mathematics and bio. I suppose Stuti can be one of the examples. So they are equally good at both the subjects, but knowing inherent interest makes you happy. Ultimately, you have to work in real life. You have to lead, and you are doing this work for the sake of happy life. So if you're not pursuing your interest, if you're not following your interest, you are going to ruin your life. There are people who are following their doctored interest, they're not enjoying it, and still are unable to understand what's wrong with them. So it's very important. And at the initial stage, we try to understand, or I should say, we help our students to understand their inherent interest. Now, there can be one more thing, and that is you are quite confused. You don't know anything about your interest because no one told you that you need to find it out. But this is the high time. If you're thinking about global education, you need to work on this, right, as early as possible. Now, then what's going to happen? All these things would pass through this filter again, best fit. So you can understand what's going to happen, right? After passing through this, you'll get admission, university admission. Confused interest would be out. Your doctored interest would be out. Only inherent interest would remain there. And then your personality, or uske baad, it has one more thing, long-term goals. Now, it is very, very crucial to understand this particular point. What happens if you know your interest, you are able to connect it with your long-term goals. And university would like to see the symmetry in your application. If you have different interests, your long-term goals are different, your strengths and weaknesses are different, your achievements are telling something else, what's going to happen? When you put forward your application, things won't reconcile. Things won't be at the same plane. They would tell entirely different story. And if these things are not in symmetry, what's going to happen? You can understand it well. Because university is looking for the best fit. And the best fit would be one who will have all the things in symmetry. Whether his interest, his passion, his extracurriculars, his hobbies, strengths, weakness, whatever things are there. So all these documents and your records, whatever are going to be there with the university, they would tell a complete story. वो एक story create करते हैं, and at that particular juncture of time, university come to know whether the application that you are putting forward is genuinely written, is genuinely put forward, or it is something which is fake, or it is something which is manipulated because you would like to get into that particular university. So they don't want such kind of people who fake things. They would like to see the genuine people, and they would like to see the people who best fit in the scheme of things. So that's it from my side. Now I would request Apoorv sir to talk more specifically about these traits, and he would also be talking a bit about quantitative evaluation. Apoorv sir.
Thank you, sir. A warm morning to all of you. The next few minutes, stay glued to your screens because what we are going to discuss is the most crucial aspects of quantitative and qualitative evaluation, which otherwise are not talked about on these such kind of forums. Okay, let's move ahead. Next slide, please.
Yeah.
Okay, what Sachin sir has just said that are two components of any application which includes quantitative evaluation and qualitative evaluation. We'll come back to quantitative evaluation a bit later on. Let's talk about what profile building is. In a true sense, profile is what we do day in, day out. This is what we do as a part of our school curriculum. This is what we do as a part of our hobby, our interest, and passion, if at all, if I can use that word right now. Okay. What happens is, next please. What happens is, when a student is ready for applying abroad, starts thinking in that direction, he or she gets confused as to what can I do. There are a number of opportunities for him or her to do. For example, he might have to think about leadership projects. He might have to think about clubs, arts. Keep on clicking, sir. He might have to think about painting, music, sports, social work, research work, blogging, number of opportunities, research work, uh, entrepreneurship, foreign languages, lot of these things to do. But then the student gets confused as to what he can do to make his profile the best profile in the world and get selected into the elite universities that he wishes to get into. Uh, Now, I want you to make a connect between these cogs in the wheels. Just see these are connected. I'll come back to this connection between the cogs of the wheels later on. Just have a look at this, that there are a number of opportunities, number of activities that you can do in order to improve your profile when you wish to apply abroad. Pointer is which one of these or a combination of these is the best profile for you, for any student for that matter. Let us find this out. Unfortunately, there is no guarantee or there is nothing like a perfect profile. Whatever you do as a part of your inherent interest and passion aligned to your goals, this is what your profile is. It's not only about profile, it's about how you convey yourself during application process. It's about how you write your statement of purposes or your essays, how your school writes your recommendation letters. This is a combination of all these things. No, you might be disappointed to see this, but the truth is that there is no perfect profile. I'll give an example to it. For example, if I have uh, gold in International Physics Olympiad, do I get a guarantee to get into MIT or Stanford or Harvard for that matter? No, no, not at all. Or I do not have any gold or silver even in any international Olympiad. Can I get into an Ivy League? Yes, you can. So there is no made up recipe for you to tell that do this, you get into MIT or Ivy League. It's a combination of a number of factors. Now, going forward, let us see how should our activities be stacked up. See, we have seen number of activities are there, but how should I pick and choose specific activities so that my activities are lined up in a particular direction? Let us see. Next, please. I have already mentioned that profile is what we do day in and day out. And in terms of making connection between cogs of the wheels and this, let's see. What I have portrayed here is a combination of gears which are interconnected. Just observe their movement. You must be seeing that there are different gears with different pace. They are yet connected. They are in sync. Assuming that they are a part of a big machine, the whole machine will work only if all these gears work in sync. This is an analogy that we can draw to your profile activities as well. There are a number of gears, there are a number of activities that we do. Unless these activities are aligned to each other, unless these activities are in sync with each other, unless these are in sync with what we want to do in life, our long-term goal, unless these activities are not synced in terms of our passion, so all these gears will not work in sync. So our profile might get rejected by Ivy Leagues or good reputed schools abroad. So this is what I wanted to say, that in order to build a holistic profile, in order to our application as a machinery working
Yes, Apoorv sir. I guess there is a lag in between. Okay. Stuti, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so the thing is that we have been getting very warm responses from our audience, from our viewers who all are watching you actually. So they have been asking questions, and I would like to ask you those questions now. Here is a viewer named Shubham Bajpai. He has asked that how you maintain your focus till your exam date. Interesting question.
Um, So yes, maintaining focus has a lot of aspects to it. So one thing is if you keep studying for the exam and you don't actually think about the end result, but you think about how much you need to get into yourself, the knowledge before the exam, then
Mhm.
you automatically keep studying and not just worrying about the exam. The other thing is you don't keep thinking about the exam, but rather you let yourself relax and just think about the knowledge, or you can distract yourself with a few things in the middle so that you don't keep getting stressed about the exam.
Of course, of course. And there is another viewer who has asked. His name is Pankaj Sharma. He's asking that how many hours did you study before getting into MIT?
So, as far as I remember my schedule, I used to keep studying for whatever time I was awake, except when I was eating. So, it used to amount to at least 11 hours a day and maximum 14 hours a day.
Uh-huh.
But you don't keep calculating your hours. Instead, you focus your mind in studying.
Of course. So I hope all our viewers now know that how much did she study, and of course you have to put in a lot of work and efforts into your studies. Stuti, there is another question. They are asking about the cultural shock. So did you face that over there?
Um, so not exactly, because the environment of MIT and surrounded by all the nerds, surrounded by all the support from the elder people, all the organizations they have, they ensure that any international student does not get cultural shock. So they
Okay.
specifically tell us that how the situation is going to be, how the professors are going to interact with you, how the other students are going to act with you, how social the environment is. They explain
Mhm.
the whole culture before you actually start college. So you're well prepared about the culture there. And as
Oh,
far as things like taboos like alcoholism and things like that are considered, they don't touch you unless you are pure yourself. So nobody's going to come and force you. Nothing like that happens. All these taboos exist everywhere, but
mhm.
while you know how to keep yourself away from them, you're good. Like nothing's going to happen and you're going to continue college happily.
Of course, that is important. There is another viewer named Monica Jain. She is asking that how to focus. If we are not able to focus on our studies, then what to do at that time?
You should definitely like do something that gives you pleasure. So for me, I used to watch some Tom and Jerry videos. So such distractions could be like of just 5 minutes, so that you get refreshed, your neurons get refreshed, and then you can come back and focus. um,
Okay.
as I said before, another important thing is you don't keep thinking about focusing. You rather actually actively try to do it. So your mind is into the content that is in front of your eyes, and not on the fact that I'm not able to do this, mujhse ye nahi ho raha, mujhse wo nahi ho raha. That attitude has to be gotten rid of before you can actually start focusing.
Of course. So you need to have that will to do something, only then it will be happening, right? Okay, Stuti, there is another question. They are asking that how difficult it was to manage medical preparation along with preparing for SAT exam. So how was it for you?
Uh, so it used to go hand in hand with me.
Mhm.
So for the preparation for the international exams, I used to do that when I used to get bored from my 11th and 12th studies. Um,
Mhm.
one common factor that binds everything is the attitude of I have to learn everything. I have to be prepared before the exam. And
Mhm.
that attitude comes from when you prepare for the Indian entrances. And then when I used to get bored from that, I used to go to my mentors, brainstorm about my essays for the different applications, or
Mhm.
sit and write the essays, or participate in the school activities, which used to give me a break from normal studies. So it's actually quite simple to balance both.
Mhm.
Given that you know how to manage your time, you do not stress about managing time. Rather, you keep doing everything, and your day passes by, and you will actually realize that you can do stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so we have another viewer named Dipanshu. He's asking, do you miss India? And what do you miss the most?
I definitely miss the food. Um, and I definitely miss India. So I haven't seen my mom since I came here in last August. Um,
Mhm.
and I was supposed to come to India this March, but the COVID situation worsened, and I could not.
Mhm.
But yes, I definitely miss a lot of things. I miss my friends.
Okay, of course. Okay, there has been bombarding of questions over here. There is another viewer. His name is Arnav Rishu, and he is asking that how can you handle the pressure in the last month of your exam? When you have only the last month, how do you handle that pressure?
So of course, the last month pressure depends on how much you have prepared before that. But
Mhm.
how I used to work for my exams was the last day, in fact, was the very crucial day for me. And I used to try to revise as much as I can, though it is not possible. So you should not stress about revising everything. But even if you have that attitude in you, you will revise the most important, your weakest points that you keep forgetting all the time. And revising those points really helps, because for me, I don't know why that used to happen, but I used to see most of those questions that I used to revise a week before or a month before the exam, in the actual exam. So you keep calm, and I think during the preparation, making a list of your weak points helps, so that you can only focus on them. um,
Mhm.
Having like some notes that you can revise just before the exam, which you don't feel confident about, helps. um, and yes, revising anything helps. You should not like just distract yourself because this is the last day, I'm just done studying. You should not distract yourself from the actual study. Studying anything keeps you in the attitude of the exam, so that you can crack it easily.
Of course. I hope our viewers have got their answers. And we have Apoorv sir with us again. Apoorv sir, shall we start? Shall we resume?
Yes, sorry for the technical glitch, but it happens in life. So be ready for everything you have.
Somebody
Be
says
happy
again.
with what you have in life. Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Hope we have asked certain important questions to Stuti with live audiences.
Yes, sir. We did.
Yeah. Okay. 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 Sachin sir, could you please open the presentation?
Yeah.
So, I got disconnected in between.
Yeah.
It's okay. Okay.
Some technical glitch.
Yep.
Technology can deceive you any moment.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. And here it goes.
Okay. So we were here gearing up.
Yeah.
Fine. 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 The only if all the gears are in sync, perfectly with sync with each other, the machine works. That's the same way. Whatever we do should be aligned to our long-term goals. Then only system works towards a good profile building. Yes. Let's move on. Now I'll give you a perspective to students. Whatever we do, it ideally should indicate one or a combination of these factors. Each activity that we design for our profile building, specifically in India, because in US, for example, we do not really need to think about profile building. In USA, uh, as a part of school curriculum, it is mandated to do social work. In India, it is not. Social work is considered to be very good activity uh, of giving back something to society. But in India, it is not heard of. So whatever activity you choose, it should ideally be a combination of these 4 or 5 factors that we are listing right now. One of those is leadership skills. So anything that you do should indicate that you are a good leader, not in every activity, but in key of the activities. And in other activities, you might be a team member. It's okay to be a team member as well. Again, next point of discussion is passion. It is always students always ask me, sir, I can do 8 to 10 activities, I am a jack of all kind of stuff, So that depends on what kind of university you have in mind, target university in mind. It's better to follow one or two passions of yours instead of becoming a jack of all. So you should be passionate about what you're doing. Yeah. One of the most important factor is how your activity has created impact on life around you, on yourself, in your neighborhood, in your school, in your society. Please try and quantify that impact. It is critical. The more you are able to quantify the impact in your activities, the more easier it becomes the admission committee to understand that. I'll give you a simple example of Stuti itself, Stuti herself. You will not believe what she had done in school in Kota. During lunchtime for a few months, she monitored closely uh, colonies of ants and tried to understand their social behavior. Put this on a project paper, etc., and deposited this project report to the school. Now imagine a school student who does not know anything about social life or sociology for that matter, social behavior, but doing this kind of a project which is not heard of commonly is important. So if you're not a go-getter, if you are used to your school life, following that curriculum, clearing those exams, then foreign universities are not your cup of tea, believe me. And last but not the least, if you are not self-motivated, leave all this. All these factors go in vain. Unless you have a strong desire to reach a specific university with a specific long range goal in mind, you will not be able to do that. So be motivated, be self-motivated, and start doing things in the right direction, as Sachin has pointed out in the earlier slides. Let's move ahead and see. So what should I do? A lot of activities are to be done. I need to find out, I need to prioritize certain activities for my profile. So what do I need to do now? So there are two parts. If you want to strengthen your quantitative part, which are easily represented in numbers, do your good homework. Have good English, crack SAT with good score, give IELTS, TOEFL, subject SAT, etc., etc. Have good grades in your school, class 10, class 11. If you want to show that you have that academic prowess, move ahead. Crack Olympiad, represent your country on an international platform. Have AP credits in hand. Do number of subjects. Do something which a student of your age generally doesn't do. Do that thing. This will bolster your quantitative evaluation wala part. Moving ahead, following your passion. See, what is important is identify one or two activities or your passion which you are passionate about, and then do something which normally a student does not do of your age. Show that you are truly dedicated to this cause, to this activity. Be consistent. Maintain that continuity in that activity for long duration. Show that you are unique. For example, if I like solving Sudoku puzzles, or I like solving Rubik cube, playing Rubik cube, do that to a national level. If I like that, if I love that, I can solve represent India. Say 3 by 3 Rubik cube, I can solve it in 5.2 seconds, but world record is 4.2. I try my level best. I try to represent my state. I try to represent my country. Do what you do. Show that you are passionate about one thing or the other. That is important. I'll give you an example once again. Stuti is here with us. Uh, since she was probably 6 years of age, she has been practicing Bharatanatyam. For now, she has been trained in Bharatanatyam for 12 years. I'll not name the degrees, but she's far above bachelor's and master's level in Bharatanatyam, probably. Heard of this thing? A student of class 10th or class 11th is doing masters in Bharatanatyam, performing Bharatanatyam on stage at Stanford Symposium. Heard of that? Do that. Not exactly that. Do not follow what others are doing. Follow your passion. Follow your inner call. This is more important, right? Try to evaluate the impact that your activities might have on your surroundings. This is all about students' perspective. Let us look at what admission committee looks for when they start evaluating applicants, especially international applicants like all of us. International means Indians. Let us see. Next slide, please. Okay. First part is profile that we've already discussed. when we want to apply to top elite universities, make sure that your profile is skewed towards one or two passions. And if you want to apply to decent universities, then you have to have that generic profile. In every case, we should have a healthy mix of academics and non-academics. Yes, it's always good to have passion. It's always good to show that you are unique in whatever ways you want to show. Do that. It's important because admission committee is looking for person or people or students who will uh, have prepare a kind of healthy mix to their batch which is incoming, freshman batch, what we call them. So another profile after profile building, another important criteria is essays. This is where our English, our writing skills come into picture. This is where we should be able to portray ourselves on paper. We should be able to pour out our soul on paper. Essays are specific questions that universities ask. For example, a generic question might be, why should I select you? The more generic the answer is, the lesser are your chances that you get selected. Be specific. Show that you are truly interested in that particular program, specific program. Show that we are unique. Show that why you are best fit. Sir, I use that term. Utilize that. Show that why you are best fit for that particular program. And you are the only one that is best fit. It should be genuine. It should be written by yourself, not to be copied because universities are experts. Admission committee is an expert. They find out very easily that this is a copied one. If it's LOR or essays or whatever it is, or your profile. So make sure that you write your essays in your own languages. It's not about vocabulary. It's really not. It's about how compelling your story is, how good you are at portraying yourself on paper. And essays is the only medium wherein you can uh, portray specific things like such special circumstances. Like, for example, you could not get good grades in class 10 because you met with an accident. You had to miss that. There was a gap year. You have to justify with a specific reason why did you have a with a gap year. In India, it's not considered a taboo, but otherwise it is a important point. An important point. Moving ahead, equally important is recommendation letters. Recommendation letters are sent from your school directly to the universities. You do not get recommendation letters in your hand, which means you have to be good at your academics. You have to be good at your co-curriculars in school. You have to spend time on your non-academic achievement. You have to keep your teachers informed that I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and so that people are generally aware of your teachers, your principals who give a recommendation. They are aware of that you are applying a award and you are doing a specific set of tasks outside the school curriculum as well. This helps us because these teachers and your faculty members of your school and principal counselors, they will write good about you in LORs only if they know you for a long time. Only they know you for a long time and they know a lot about you, not only superficially but otherwise also. So it was a nice session with you all. Apart from that electricality that we faced, but yes, I tried to answer most of the questions that students generally ask for in terms of profile building, essays, LOR, quantitative, qualitative. Sir has already covered about your interest, following your passion, your long-term goals, alignment, etc., etc. Number of people might have questions as well. Yes. Okay. Over to you, Surbhi ma'am. Let us see. What do we have now?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Sachin sir and Apoorv sir, for the insightful information. We have been actually getting warm responses from our viewers. And let me assure all of our viewers that we will be getting to your questions and your answers will be given very soon. But before that, we have something to show you all. Let's have a look.
Okay. Okay. Suti's journey, is it?
Yes, it is.
Okay, okay, okay.
So our viewers can enjoy her journey, what she has done over the period of time, her achievements and everything, her childhood. Isn't that cute? Her school life. Okay,
Oh,
over here,
I
our viewers
okay.
can see.
I can
Yeah,
see that Bharatnatyam photograph. Yeah, yeah.
exactly. So she has been engaged in everything, every sort of activity, as you can see, singing, dance, academics.
Olympiad, I can see SOF Olympiad.
Yes,
And then with Prime Minister and the President.
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
Like the talent.
At Ellen, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. And growing up.
Her friends probably. She will
Yes.
tell us.
That's my family, my cousins, my
Okay, okay.
dad, and my food.
Yes, of course. I was about to say that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Stuti, can you talk about the picture in the middle? What is that? What were you doing?
So it was a flag march for Model United Nations in my school.
Okay,
Model
okay.
United Nations has been a very integral part of my application process, my school life, my life at MIT. And
Mhm.
this is just a glimpse of the award that I received for that flag march, dressed as a Syrian lady.
That's
Um,
beautiful.
You have
Okay, okay.
also formulated some sort of group for MUN at MIT itself, right?
right.
Hmm.
Yeah. And yes, here you can
The
see the
artist,
inner artist in
yes,
Stuti. Her sketchings. Very
nice.
beautiful. And finally, life at MIT, which we all think she's enjoying thoroughly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Isn't that your classroom over there?
Yes. So the
Right.
top left picture is from my lab. So the
Hmm.
research lab that I'm currently working on the genome of the coronavirus.
Oh,
Okay.
great.
That's the lab. And then on the top right is the MUN conference, the recent conference of which I was a chair. Um,
Okay,
Mhm.
there is an upcoming conference that is going to be via Zoom with China. So that is my MUN life at MIT. Then the bottom left one is while my time at the International Science School at the University of Sydney.
Mhm.
okay,
That's with the town mayor receiving our final awards. And then the bottom right one is I volunteered at a food bank in Boston, and that is with my MIT fellows. So
Okay.
we volunteered for like 3 hours packing foods for the underprivileged.
oh,
Brilliant.
fine,
Nice.
fine,
Great.
fantastic. So you are continuing your journey of giving back to society even after reaching MIT?
Right. And there are a lot of opportunities that come to you. They tell you that we need your help, and you can keep going every weekend
Well,
for these.
I would like to know from you, how do these people look at community services?
So, one very profound thing that I found was community service is taken up as a career path in the US. So it is taken that seriously. And a lot of these nonprofit organizations in the US depend on volunteer help for almost 90% of their activities. So it is a very important part of the lives of the Americans to
Okay.
actually go in, volunteer, and serve
Fine.
these nonprofits.
Okay. So the journey has just begun. There is way to go. Yes. So it was actually a surprise for Stuti as well.
Yes.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Absolutely. It was very nostalgic, and thank you so much for this thoughtful composition.
It's our pleasure actually. So I hope all our viewers also enjoyed the slideshow and learned that nothing will to do it. Right. So now we have come to the last segment of our webinar, which is Q&A session, question and answer round. Many of you have put up questions, including Bhavya Goyal from Delhi, Divya Darshini from Tamil Nadu, and Manikirat Singh Seni from Rajpura, and Harsh Kumar from Himachal, Sashwat Chaudhary from Jamshedpur. So what we'll do, I'll be asking some of the common questions to our panel so that most of the questions could be covered. Okay. So, Stuti, again to you. The first question is for you. It says that how is MIT pedagogy different from India, and does that represent the whole USA's pedagogy?
So the professors here are really into actually getting the content to you. And coming from India, the lectures initially seem slow. They seem to take up a lot of time, but actually they're ensuring that the knowledge sinks into you. There are a lot of revision sessions, review sessions, homework help sessions, office hours as they call it, and lots of teaching assistants that are ready to help you 24/7 with your classes. And that is something that I really, really enjoyed during my past semesters. This is in general how the US works. So most of the universities have a lot of task force coming behind any class, any course that you take. And they really, really help you out in understanding.
Okay, so one of our live viewers, Dhruv Kanogia, he is asking how you found your interest.
So as Sachin sir was talking about doctored interests,
Uh-huh.
my inherent interests lied in a lot of things. So like almost everything that I did, including history, dance, painting, maths, biology, like just everything. It was important. One important turn in life came when I had to give Olympiads, and I discovered that I did well in biology. So at that time, I started going more into biology and getting less and less of the other subjects. Um, and that does not mean I left the other subjects. So I can still continue them while in college because I have all of those opportunities as co-curriculars. But until the time of my high school, I had to focus on that one interest in which I was actually doing well in order to show the world that yes, I can do this. I have this efficiency, this academic, um, you know, race towards getting, getting my interest like actually
Fine.
showcased.
Fine.
Okay. Okay, so the next question is for you, Sachin sir. It's that when a student applies for a UG or PG program, what parameters should he or she look at before deciding a university?
There can be a lot of things. See, again, I would talk about the mindset. We need to change the mindset. Here in India, we think that if a particular institute or university has a top rank, I should target that particular university only. But I would suggest it other way. First, you should identify your interest, and after identify your interest, you should try to find out the professors all across the globe who are working on the same subject, and then try to understand their researches, their projects, study them, and then you'll find at least 4 to 5 or 10, I should say, such kind of projects or studies where you'll be quite interested, and you'll find them very interesting. Then when you closely monitor these people, you'll come to know that you have some specific interest, right? Start following them and target those professors, not universities, I would say, and that is going to help you a lot. So selecting in the way that this is top ranking university or this is for say 100 ranked university, that's not the right way. And I should get a particular, I should say, specialization. For say, you say I'm interested in computer science. Now, without knowing anything in computer science, how do you know that you are interested in computer science? So first you should know that what thing you are interested in. For that, you need to do a lot of research work. You need to study people. You need to dive deeper into different subjects. Then only you come to know about actual interest. Once your interests are identified, try to connect them with the departments or the professors of the universities, see their work, their projects, and then target those universities, target those professors, those departments. That would be the best way.
Okay. I hope that is clear to our viewers. Next question is for you, Apoorv sir. How can a student ensure to get full scholarship to study in USA for UG or PG courses?
Oh, a tough question, believe me. Okay, there are two components of this. One is UG and one is PG. Nobody can ensure this in terms of full scholarship. Let me be very blunt. Let me be very blunt on this. So if I talk about UG courses, if you apply, if your application is aligned to your long-term goal, your interest, your passion, you have been able to so-called portray yourself on papers in your essays, and your LORs are decent enough, and you have identified the best fit university for you. Believe me, you will get a partial scholarship. generally, if your profile is good, if you are academically thorough, strong, getting partial scholarships is not an issue at all. But getting a full scholarship is difficult because you have to show that, not rather show, you have to be exceptional so that university gives you full 100% scholarship. They should understand that you are the only child of this kind on this planet. Let us look at it that way. If you are the only child with this specific skill set in the entire batch that they have for freshmen, they will pick you up and give you a scholarship. Otherwise, full scholarship is very difficult. So you should have that backup plan in mind. But partial scholarships at a UG level is easy to get. And of course, once we reach there, we can start earning back when we start getting into research. We become a teaching assistant or research assistant, etc., etc. We start earning back. So that financial load will not be that much. So this was for UG. For PG level, it is a bit easier to get loans and scholarships because you are directly delving into research. When you are applying for masters and PhD through GRE plus TOEFL route in US specifically, so you get 50% to 100% scholarships depending on your profile, your research LORs, etc., and how good or bad you have written your statement of purposes. And at times you might have to add to your LORs and your SOPs a specific project proposal, a research proposal. And if you take me for this MS or PhD, I will do this for you. So they have universities have different grants. So getting a scholarship at a PG level is easier.
Okay, I hope the viewers have got their answer. Again, coming back to you, Stuti, one of our live viewers, Abhas Senapati, he is asking if we have keen interest in non-academics and we have worked on that as well, then does the academic achievements matter or not?
So, as we have highlighted before, you can only be very, very good in one thing. And it can be either academic or non academic. The universities are looking at the drive that you have for that one really nice passion that you have. And for that drive, you can uh, actually focus on just one thing and show good achievements in that, and it is totally fine to have non-academic achievements. I have seen a lot of my peers that are actually very good in sports or very good at art or music, and universities actually value this addition to themselves, so they like their own university to get such people.
Okay, Sachin sir, one question for you. One of our live viewers, Abhishek Roy, he is asking that when is the right time to start profile building for foreign universities?
It's as early as possible. See, earlier is better. It's always said. But still, if suppose you would like to become serious and till now you are not aware about the things, you can start it from 9th class onwards. Though if you have your mindset, you can start from 1st standard or 6th standard onwards. But see, university look at the previous 3 years of your profile. So you can start it from 9th class onwards. So 9th, 10th, 11th, and then some of the part of 12th. That would suffice.
Okay. Next question, Stuti, it's for you. The viewers are keen to ask that what is an average student's day or life at MIT in terms of academic rigor, and when you talk about co-curricular activities, and an average day actually. So how is it?
So usually, most of us are known to see the sunrise while working on our P sets, the problem sets, while doing homework. So we usually sleep for just 5 to 6 hours, and we start our day pretty early because we have classes at 8 a.m., 9 a.m. And then we wake up early, go to class, run to classes, usually compromise on food, and then we have events, social events for lunch or dinner, in which are organized by different clubs, and we kind of socialize at that point. Then there are some co-curriculars that take up your day. So, for example, I did 4 different sports, including badminton and swimming, after going there. So that's a part of your course schedule. And then yes, so we come back, and then there are usually some kind of parties in the dorms. So we get to relax and then go back to our homework.
Okay, so that is quite interesting, I would say.
That means that participating in sports is part of our curriculum itself, right?
Of
Which is
course.
not in India, which is not seen in India at all.
It is
Great.
actually a requirement at most of the universities.
Good.
Hmm.
That's nice. Apoorv sir, the next question is for you. How to get admission into abroad colleges on the basis of JEE mains and JEE advanced rank?
Okay. Because JEE exam is quite popular in India. So students want to know where can I land with this JEE mains or advanced course. I'll not put into JEE mains scope right now, but JEE advanced is a good indicator of that. You are good at physics, chemistry, and mathematics. So few countries, including Singapore and few of them in Europe, few special universities, they give weightage to JEE advanced scores, but they will not rely only on JEE advanced score only. They might have their internal testing system to judge, to bolster your academic achievements. That okay, you have played JEE advanced. Let us say 40% achievement of that, 40% weightage attached to that, but rest 50% weightage might or 60% weightage attached to entrance examination that you have to give. But if a student has given JEE and has cleared JEE advanced, believe it, he or she will be able to crack that exam of European university quite easily. So it is possible. Just that you have to be very clear on your aim, your university target, etc., etc., and your long-term goal in life. You can decide that.
Okay. So the next question we'll again come back to Stuti. How do you manage 4 subjects together? Because the viewer think that it's difficult to cope up with maths and biology together. So what do you do for your time management?
Um, First off, I would say that I did not just manage 4 subjects. I managed 3 different streams, which one stream I call as the US stream, the other is JEE stream, and the other is medical stream. Um, and it all boils down to the fact that whenever you're preparing for Indian entrances, you have to focus on what you do in school. You have to really, really get the knowledge that you get. So whenever you learn the stuff once, whenever you study NCRT once, you should get in the basic concepts and manage that portion, manage that knowledge. And the medical preparation goes as in the same way as JE. So I just focused on NCRT textbooks and what Alan taught me in coaching. So you have to be very careful. You have to be a very careful learner. And then for the US preparation, it acts as a refreshment. When you are bored from your 11th, 12th studies, you focus on that, and that's how you manage.
Okay, that's nice. Sachin sir, the next question is for you. Does having any Olympiad medal guarantee selection to MIT, and having less marks in ninth grade affect that much to our preparation or application actually?
In fact, we have already discussed this. Stuti has clearly mentioned it. Even Apoorv sir has said about it. We'll see. If you are just good at academics, means you have some sort of Olympiad medal, it doesn't guarantee your admission. Though it will be spike in your, I should say, profile, but you cannot guarantee it because university is looking at n number of different parameters. So anything that you believe is the guarantee is no guarantee. The other thing, if you have lower grade in ninth standard, it won't hamper your, I should say, perspective. Reason is just you have to show how you excelled from that particular point. So if you fail in your life, it doesn't matter. See, for any of these universities, they know that failure is inevitable. So no one in the world is there who has never faced any sort of failures. And if you say that you haven't failed any time, you are lying. And they don't like such kind of people. So if you your scores were not good in ninth standard, you can improve later on. So if you have steady graph, it is not fluctuating, that's well and good. And the other thing, you'll have to justify, you'll have to give the reason that why you failed or why you scored less. In fact, it can become a very good I should say instance to mention. So it's all up to you. How do you present this particular thing in your application and essays?
Of
These
course.
applications usually consists of the person looking at how engaged you were during your school time. Like,
Yeah.
you don't waste time just sitting around or thinking about life. Instead, you're actually actively doing things. So that's what
Yeah.
they're looking for. They're looking for how good you can fit into their university, the rigor that they can offer, how well you can take in the different opportunities that exist, including entrepreneurship opportunities or sports or like any kind of extracurriculars. They're looking at how well you will be able to get in all of that.
Yes.
Looks like you tell them they have it. I want this. Yes, have it.
Yes.
Yes. Apoorv sir, next question is for you. Uh, it says that overall expenditure for the desired course in any Ivy college. So what's that?
Okay. I link that to the previous question that I've answered. Important point is it is difficult to get 100% scholarship. You have to show that you are exceptional. And if you are exceptional, you might get up to 100% scholarship, covering every part of your expense. But if not, if you're not getting any scholarships, and depending on the kind of college or university you choose, depending on the continent you choose, Europe or US or Singapore or any other matter for country for that matter, it might cost somewhere around 10 lakh per year, 250 lakh per year kind of stuff. In the US, the UG is for 4 years. In Europe, it is generally 3 years kind of stuff. You can calculate that thing, but then yes, financial backup is necessary if you want to apply and go for UG programs abroad. Yes.
Okay. So Stuti, we'll again come back to you. So the question is, situation has changed due to, of course, what is going around nowadays, COVID-19. So what are your views on study abroad opportunities after this whole situation stabilizes?
So I would like to mention that all the US universities are actively working to move everything remote, and they were successful. So 13th March was our evacuation day when MIT evacuated all its students, and the transition from in-person learning to virtual learning was very, very smooth, just because these universities already depend a lot on technologies, and they have a lot of uh, resources to actually put into remote learning. The professors are also great at encouraging remote learning. So that's how the universities are looking right now. Um, Most of the international students for the current admission cycle, so who are admitted right now, are also looking forward to a remote fall semester. Whoever is going to apply this year is going to only come to campus in September 2021. So even if the situation in US is bad right now, it's going to settle down for sure by the time the next applicants, the admitted people come in. So it's not going to be a problem for the next admission cycle, and everything is going to come back to regular.
Okay, so that's actually a good news for everyone. So we had many of our viewers, Anand Thapa, and there were actually many viewers who were asking about exam stress. So Stuti, what would be your last words about this final question? How to deal with exam stress?
Um, the very bad answer that I can give you is don't get stressed about it. Um, there are a lot of there are a lot of factors. So one thing that I found important was distraction. So as I keep saying, I used to watch these short videos of Tom and Jerry or cooking with my mom, my family. I used to talk to my family, I used to talk to my teachers, and just clear out front any kinds of concerns that I had regarding my studies, regarding my mental health. I just used to talk them out. So I think that's the best way to reduce stress. And apart from that, obviously you do not get stressed if you are very well prepared. um, and for good preparation you cannot be stressed. So both the things have to be balanced together.
Okay, of course. So I hope our viewers have got their answers. I would request Sachin sir and Apoorv sir if they want to say something to our viewers, the final words.
Apoorv sir?
I'll just add that there are plenty of questions that might have remained unanswered till now. So they can always come back to us, call us, or mail us to get those answers. And yes, important point is you have to be clear about your life goals. Unless that thing is clear, it is impossible to move ahead. It is impossible. Once you have to be clear on what you want to do in life, that is the first stage. Of course, we can help you in identifying that as well. But you have to be very clear on what you want to do in life. Then decide on whether through Indian education system or abroad, and other things will follow. Everything else falls in place once you are clear on what you want to do. Sir,
Yeah, exactly. I would like to emphasize upon the same point that it is very important to identify your interest at this particular juncture of time, because I would say, like, when you look back from 15 years from now, you shouldn't repent for your decisions, right? We have seen several incidents where people, they have done their UG, PGs, they keep on hopping from one job to another one. These are the people who are unable to settle down. These are the people like who are really very much stressed in their life. Do you know why? Because they haven't identified their interests at the right time. So they are not satisfied with any sort of jobs, any sort of degrees. Despite having good qualification, they are not successful in their life. So it is very, very important for all of you. It doesn't matter whether you are planning your foreign studies or you are planning your education here in India only. The most important aspect is just identify your inherent interest. And I would like to add just last one thing to this. When we talk about interest, we straight away move on to the subjects. I'm interested in physics, I'm interested in chemistry, I'm interested in biology, mathematics. See, these things have nothing to do with your interest. Interests are entirely different kind of things. So you can identify them in your day-to-day activities, right? What kind of activities you love doing. That's very important. Even it can be the pettiest thing. Note them down on a paper and try to funnel them down, right? And if you need any sort of professional help, take the help of the people around you. They might help you. But again, remember, people in most of the cases would try to impose their interest upon you. So be aware of it, be unbiased, listen to the people, but use your own brain. When you say this is my strength, this is my weakness, these are my interests, you have thousands of examples of such kind of things in your life. Try to correlate those examples with your strengths, weaknesses, and your interests, and you'll automatically be able to identify your true interest. Right? That is very important, and start working in that direction. Now, again, remember, don't forget about financial viability. Some of us might think that if I have this particular interest, I must start following it blindly. Just try to integrate one or two or three of your interests together if they are not financially viable, and then move forward. Right? That's it. So that's from my end. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Stuti, is there something that you want to add?
So, again, when you have to find your interest, you should remember that there are a lot of opportunities out there. But even if you choose like something as biology, there are so many different streams that you can go to. For example, for me right now at this position, I have like 5 different opportunities. I can have my own startup. I can be a molecular biologist, come software engineer. I can do a PhD. I can become a doctor even at this point, even if I'm doing engineering here. Like there are just thousands of opportunities, and not only in academics, but also in arts, also in like all the other fields that exist, like even archaeology, like just everything. So you can choose something and then start thinking about what next, but do not be stressed about not achieving anything or being a failure at some point, because this world is really, really full of opportunities. Thank you for connecting with us.
Okay, thank you so much. We tried to cover up as much queries as possible in the limited time frame that we had. And if our viewers, if you have more queries, or if you have, or if your questions were not answered here because of that time crunch, I would request you to connect with us over call or email. You can even log on to our website, that is allen.ac.in/global studies/. And thank you, Apoorv sir, thank you, Sachin sir, and thank you so much, Stuti, for connecting with us for this webinar today. It was great having you all. So that was it. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you being here. Thanks again for joining us for today, and we'll see you, of course, next time. Have a nice day ahead.
thank you.